Hey Bennie.
How you doing?
I'm okay. I'm good. I got my sleep. I got my little sleep in.
Everybody did. It's cold.
Yeah. It is that. All right. So last time, um, mm, you know, I think we talked about when there was other people like included in it, right? Like other people accused of the same thing that you was with you, and then you explained that situation and about the traffic tickets and things like that, right?
hmm
Okay. So this time I do want you to reintroduce yourself because there could be like new people watching and they could just now be following the story. So we're gonna do that every time.
Okay. Well, of course, for the audience, my name is Bennie Denson.
And that's it.
Oh, well, yeah. Mom's, excuse me. My story is about me being wrongfully convicted
Mhm.
and the trials and tribulations I went through thus far.
Okay. All right. So actually I wanted to switch it up a little bit and ask you um like for the people that's watching or whatever, just to just to keep it engaging, I guess. Um in the most appropriate manner possible. Cause they probably want to know what it's like in there a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So without being inappropriate, you know what I'm saying? Cause this is a platform. Can you tell them like a little bit of the reason why we was late today?
Yeah, man. It's a system. We have people at play, meaning guards, or some situations that can happen that can get us in the jam where we can't be out doing anything for that matter. And
Mhm.
yeah, we just had a hiccup being that we had a irrational guard who likes to mess with people.
Hmm. Okay. Well, that's not good because that's not good for our scheduling. But we still here. We still here. We still got it.
Yeah,
So that's why they had my little bun in my hair, and I threw on something a little professional looking. But I would have had a bun on or something like that. Been looking more interviewish, but I did my best. Okay, so we on question number 4. Um, so what were some inconsistencies within witnesses and written reports versus like the in-person actual court hearing?
okay, well, some of the major inconsistencies, or what I'd like to point out that I think the court should have known too, was number one, on the Tracer's report, there
Mhm.
was a written report the day the crime happened, which means I assume the testimony of the victims, witnesses, or forever whoever was that had to be questioned that day or that night was written on these reports. These are the reports which the public kind of really doesn't know. Trace's reports, these are what are turned over to the district attorney, and they use this to find out whether or not they have enough to charge you. So, with
Okay.
that being said,
Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Is there a way that I can move my picture to down to the bottom so I can see your whole face? So people can see your whole face?
yeah, on my screen is showing the whole face. You can move your camera down though.
Okay, sorry, because that's like distracting me. Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
But
You
yeah,
could go.
so on the report, there was a statement that stated the person who had got robbed that prior to the crime, four assailants came, I believe, 20 minutes.
Mhm.
They asked for somebody. She told them that they had the wrong building, and she stated that she stuck her head out the door to point to the building that they were supposed to be at.
Mhm.
Then she says 15 minutes later, those same four people busted in her door. I guess they knocked again, and before she can even open the door, they forced their way in. And she says that in the written report that these were the same four people that came 20 minutes prior asking for this specific person, I guess, that she
Mhm.
gave directions to. But when we got to court, that changed very drastically. Like, for one, there was only one person that came to the door. That
Mhm.
person was supposed to be me. There were
Mm,
three other guys lingering on a car that's supposed
mm,
to be connected to me. And
mm,
therefore, that's how they got to put all of the scope of the so-called suspect car and the understanding of what description it was versus me coming along apparently to the door asking for somebody, and then she stated to the person who she said was me that you have the wrong place, but she stated that she noticed three other guys, black of course, leaning on a car that later
mhm,
became the suspect car. So I feel those drastic changes in testimony or
mhm.
statement, for what that matter, is a very, very critical moment in the case where you allow such a written testimony that happened the day of the crime versus a year or so later, maybe a year and a half later, your testimony is different. And
Yeah.
like I said, that was one of the outlining things, number one. Number two was the suspect car. Now they
Mhm.
gave a reference to a red car that was somewhat of a Dodge or a Honda. And
Okay.
my issue during the trial process was that I was trying to let my attorney know, like, dude, that's not my car. My
Yeah.
car is sitting at my girl's house.
Mhm.
I stay
Yeah.
there. But my car doesn't fit the description of what the car that they said did the robbery. But guess whose
Mhm.
car did fit the description? My
Who's?
mother's car.
Oh.
So since my address was registered to my mother's house being my driver's license,
Mhm.
that's where they went. They had no recollection of where I stayed outside the uh the address to my ID. So I felt like that was a mess up with the use of proper evidence, because even when the officer took a picture of my mother's car and
Mhm.
took it to the victim, he even wrote on his report that the victim stated that could be the car. It looks similar.
Mhm. Yeah.
But from that statement, it changed to that is the car, to her seeing a picture of the car and saying that is the car. But you just seen the picture when the detective went and did his investigation 3 months after the crime, after I was already arrested for other situations. But the fact that you had this statement stating that she wasn't for sure, but
Yeah.
yet when we're in trial and court processes, they're very sure that that's the car. And I felt like I was done bad because I I literally yelled at my attorney too.
Yeah.
I have ownership of a car that is not that car. If you go
Mhm.
pull the ownership of that car, it's going to have my mother's name on it. My
Mhm.
car is in my name. Big
Right.
difference. That, I
Yeah.
mean, that would sway the evidence of the case, at least in my opinion, and I hope the viewers would understand as well. But the fact that you never brought it out that that wasn't even my car. And then
Mhm.
third, my mom wasn't even in town during the time this robbery happened for that to be her car.
Mhm.
It was her birthday weekend. Every weekend until my grandmother died, she would go visit her for her birthday weekend. That was my
Mhm.
mama's tradition. I told my attorney this. He said he didn't have the powers to subpoena turnpike records.
Hmm.
And it wasn't until I got convicted like a year and a half later and finally went to jail and got able to do my own research. I
Mhm.
got to call Turnpike and they said that they only keep those records for at least 3 years. Or no, I think it was 1 year. Sorry, 1 year.
This
So
is bad luck all the way
by
around.
the time I finally got to check on it myself, it was already too late. And those three things were the determining process of my conviction.
Mhm.
The fourth one is the kicker. If
Mhm.
the fourth one was included, I wouldn't have needed one, two, and three. They
Mhm.
have my cell phone in custody. And I don't know if the viewers know, but they have what we call cyber crimes now, where if they feel like you've done crimes with the phone or your phone can relay that you've done a crime, they
Yeah.
have devices that can go in your phone and pull everything from it, from
Mhm.
GPS to Bluetooth to internet searches to calls, texts, all that
Yeah.
audio. It doesn't hide anything.
Yeah.
Well, they pulled transcripts from me and a co-defendant's phone. And
Mhm.
oddly, for the second degree burglaries that they charged us with, they went back 6 months and charged us worse 6 months of crimes within that 6 month span that they
Mhm.
had from his phone. But whenever they gave the text messages from
Wait,
my
wait, wait.
phone,
When you say his phone, who are you speaking
oh,
referring
my
to?
co-defendant, I'm sorry, my co-defendant. They have both our phones because let me clear the story for that. I got arrested that night for a second degree burglary. Me and another person who they call co-defendant. And it wasn't
Mhm.
until 3 months later that, as the previous story I told, where they charged me with the armed robbery. Use it
Mhm.
as bait to hang over my head to try to get me to testify. I didn't do what they asked, so now I have a robbery. So now we're
Mhm.
here. If they would have went back, we had the same exact phone. The only difference between me and my co-defendant's phone was
Mhm.
his was a white version, mine was a black version. The same phone, the same cellular service. The only difference between his phone and mine, his was in his name, mine was in my name. It didn't really dawn on me when I started reading the messages and noticed that it stopped on the month before this robbery that they charged me with. And I'm only
Mhm.
telling this to the public because this is something that even my attorney said we couldn't really persuade because we don't have the burden of proof to go with that claim. But
Mhm.